Hey everyone, I'm going to give you a full tutorial of mcocktools.com. This is a way for us to be able to get modified alliance wars. The key to this website is going to be having as many alliances as possible participate and enter in their war information during the placement phase so that the website can do the work to calculate to see which alliances are actually paired against which other alliances in the war. So essentially, you'll be able to know who your opponent is before the war starts. I'm going to start with just creating an account. Select Create New User. This first section we're going to log in and we're going to try to create an alliance, assuming that I am one of the alliance officers. So we'll just create a username and a password. The in-game username is your Marvel Contest of Champions player name. You need this because when we go to verify you as a member of the alliance or an officer or a leader, we need to be able to look back at your name. Also, your alliance leaders and officers will need to see your in-game name so they know who you are when you go to request. So we'll just say my in-game name is my name. So I'm going to use a kind of a throwaway email address here for this one, but I do own this email address, so the registration was successful. I'm going to have to go into my email. So I pulled up my email account. Here is the activation email, so I'm going to go ahead and click that. So my account has now been activated, and we're going to click Login. Alright, so here is my main page, and to start off with I need to be able to associate myself with an alliance, and that's before I can find my opponents, before I can see my wars. So we'll say that I'm actually an officer of this alliance, and this will just be ally 1, so you can see here that each of the items down here are basically laid out for you up here. So this will be your, this is just an example of your versus screen on your alliance war. So you won't be able to see this unless you are either in a war, in the attack phase, or in a placement phase. But this tool is mostly useful for when you're in your placement phase. So I'm going to take a look at these items in my game, and I'll fill them out here. I'm just going to use dummy data for now. We'll submit that. Now, since I'm submitting as an officer, I'm expected to be verified. Once any one officer or leader has been verified for the alliance, that officer or leader can manage all members and accept members into the alliance on the website. So I need to go in to my game, and I need to look for the user mcocktools. I'm going to send a friend request. So this was really the only way that we could make sure that we don't have people entering in bad data, kind of messing up our numbers, because we want to be able to match every alliance to their war opponent, and it requires precise data. So I'll come into here to my search. Okay, found him right up there, add a friend. So now it's kind of a waiting game. This could take up to 24 hours, but I'll be checking the accounts pretty regularly. You shouldn't really have to wait a full 24 hours, but it could be up to that long. Okay, so now I have received a message from MCOC Tools. This is my verification code. It's 288134. So I'm going to come into here and verify that I am the leader. Now, if I hadn't actually been the leader or officer of my alliance, I would not have received a verification code. But since theoretically in this case we're going to say that I am an officer, so we'll enter in my code 288134. And now I have access to my alliance. I can view my pending requests and I can manage the members. Right now I don't have any members of this alliance, so there won't be anything. So that's pretty much the start of getting registered as an officer or a leader. You can still sign up as a member if you don't have any officers or leaders in your signed up for this website yet, but your request is just kind of going to hang out there until you get an officer or leader who can enter in a verification code and verify themselves as someone who can accept you as a member. So let's say that I switched alliances and now I'm just a member of this new alliance, and I've actually already created an alliance with this tag. So the program will detect that your alliance tag exists, and then it will send a request to that alliance. So I'll submit that. Alright, so my request to join them as a member has been sent. And I'll log back into the leader of that alliance. Alright, so now the leader of that alliance can see that there are some pending requests here. And I've just kind of created all this dummy data here. So the first one is this tester4 guy is requesting to be leader of this alliance, but I'm going to deny that request. I'm going to remain the only leader as of right now, but I can promote more users to leaders. Once there's a leader and officer, you can promote or demote however you'd like. Tester2 wants to join as an officer. I'll approve that. And then we have tester3 will approve, and tester1 will get approved. And this, my name, that's the user that I was just logged in as before. And that one I'm going to approve as well. So now we can see here are my alliance members. We have 1 officer and 4 members. And then down here you can see the members that I've either kicked or denied. If by accident I kicked or denied someone, I can go back in and I can accept them as a member. I can't accept them as their original request. This guy originally requested as a leader, but I can accept him as a member, and then I can go back. If I wanted to accept this guy as a member, I could go back and I could promote him. So I went ahead and promoted the my name user to officer. If I wanted to promote him to leader, I could do that. I am a leader, so I can promote to leader. But as an officer, you can't promote above your station. So I'm going to demote this guy back, and I can also come in here and I can kick a member out. So these guys down here, the kicked members and denied members, they won't be able to see any of my alliance data. The main reason for doing this is so that we can enter in our placement phase countdown timer, and that's going to be able to be matched up with other alliances that happen to have the same placement phase countdown in my same war tier as shown here. So I'm entering my war tier and my war rating here, and that's going to help when we're finding my opponent to know whether or not they really are my opponent. So let's go back to my war. And so I need to be able to find my placement phase. And that's right here in the game. That's on your alliance page. So let's go into the game here. And so I can see that my timer is at 8 hours, 43 minutes, and 47 seconds. Now I've already gone in and added a couple other alliances with this same war countdown timer, or at least a similar countdown timer. So the trick here is, I mean, I would suggest that you do this on a computer so that you can look at this minute hand and second hand counting down. It's really important that you get this as accurate as possible. So I'm going to try it right now. I mean, I'm on my phone looking at my timer. I see that it's at 10 seconds right now. So I'm going to go ahead and just put in 8 hours and 42 minutes. You'll see why in a second here. So 8 hours, 42 minutes, and I'll say 50 seconds. Now I'm going to hop back over here. 53, 52, 51, 50. So I might have missed that by a second or so, but if you caught what I did there, I put the seconds a little bit lower than what I saw, maybe 20 seconds or so below what I saw, so that I could come back in here and be ready for when this countdown timer hit the mark, I could press that start or reset timer button right there. So what that did was, that's going to show me my placement phase countdown. Now, any members or officers of your alliance can now see this countdown. Any officers or leaders can change the countdown down here at any time, but members cannot change the countdown. So that's the main reason for all this security with having leaders and having them appoint officers and that kind of thing. So as a side note, just to reiterate, if you are an officer or a leader, you can be one of the first to sign up for your alliance. The very first officer can approve a leader. If a leader requests to join, the officer can approve that person as the leader, and they will be brought into the alliance as the leader. So officers or leaders can start managing. You don't have to wait for just your leader. So let's go now. Like I said before, I already kind of created a couple other alliances and entered their countdown phase. So let's go to find our opponent. So you can see that I've got two possible opponents. I'm looking at their war rating and the countdown accuracy. You can see that they're both in tier 1. You're only going to actually see any alliances that are in your same war tier. So that's why it's important to have all of that data input correctly. So we can see that there's my war rating in my alliance is 999, and my opponents have 955 and 900. So I'm looking at these and I see that one of the alliances is 0 seconds away from my war countdown. And you know, this could be a little inaccurate based on who entered the times and how accurate they were when they entered those times. But for our purposes, we'll say that both opponents entered their times perfectly accurate based on their placement countdown. So I would look at this and I would say that I am likely paired up with opponent 1 because they have a rating of 955, that's closer to mine. They have a countdown accuracy of 3 seconds, closer to mine as well. So I would go with them as my opponent